also know that the Commission's lead counsel, Ami Bensouda, was alleged by the Commission's secretary, Kuran, of many misdeeds, including conflict of interest, and asked that she resigns. If you remember, she was the lawyer to one of the parastatals, Social Security, I believe, in the sale of the Ocean Bay, was it, hotel? And her signatories were there. These were given out, and many other things that happening within the commission. But the only thing they did was to remove Kurang out. And we must not forget, during that period, Ami Bensouda's brother was the Secretary General at the Office of the President. Now we ask, if we are looking for justice and not lopsided justice, you want to investigate me, him, and everybody else, and it comes to light through documentation that a participant or the lead counsel was involved, the least we expected was for her to resign and present herself, or otherwise government to push her out if they want justice. This had not happened. Hardly did even the independent press pick most of these things up. We further remember, if you remember, just at the commencement of the Commission of Inquiry, we as a party, APRC, we were unceremoniously sent out of our office. And to date, some of our equipments are in that office that we were not allowed to take. Our air conditioners, our CCTV cameras, our tanks, etc. are all packed there that we were not allowed to take. Our vehicles were seized. Our bank accounts frozen by a commission that has yet to decide on these things. Let's not forget that when President Badama Barrow's government came to power, within 3 months they were able to provide brand new pickups for their political leaders. We all saw it. If those people can do it within 3 months, much more a party in governance for 22 years. We wrote to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Batambedu. We were called to the police. We explained our case. They said they were investigating. But we are asking, where are those vehicles? If vehicles are seized or frozen, accounts frozen, there should be somewhere where everybody is seeing it. Nobody would tell me where those vehicles are. In fact, after seizure, we saw some of those vehicles being used in the streets of Gambia here. And we have had information that some of those vehicles have been repainted and some are even sold outside the Gambia. That goes to show the intent of this government against the APRC even before judgment or proofs were made available. We now are, where are the vehicles? In the Commission's report, we are yet to hear anything about the APRC vehicles and the fate, about our bank accounts and the fate. What's happening? So these are, I'm telling you, some of the reasons that made us reach the conclusion we have reached. We are also aware that President Janneh's vehicles, his cattle, and other properties were sold just at the commencement of the commission. Does that make us believe that the commission had already made conclusions that those things were illegally gotten to warrant them being sold? Because if you have not made judgment, why sell? Freeze it, keep it until judgment is made. But what we came to understand, and therefore we challenge the Barrow government, is that some of their own senior members of the coalition purchased these vehicles and herds of cattle. That some of them have herds of cattle which hitherto they had never had. That these things were sold at giveaway prices. In this circumstance, we challenge the government to come out with a comprehensive list of articles and properties sold, to whom they were sold, and for how much, to allay or put off these allegations. It is Gambians' right to know. And I challenge the journalists to find out from government, to make them publish the list of those who purchased those properties, herds of cattle, how much and who they are. That would definitely allay people's fears that it was done transparently. The other point, it is illegal for the commission or any authority to look into the period between July 1994 to the end of the transition. You are aware that in the Commission's report and the subsequent government white paper, they were looking into the period July 1994 to the end of the 3-year transition, which by the 1997 Constitution is illegal. I will make reference or invite you to the second schedule, transitional and consequential provisions of the 1997 Constitution, paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me remind you that when Yankuba Toure was taken to the TRRC, he said, even before appearing before the commission, that he would not speak in camera. They took cameras in-house, they sold it out, but he told them that I will not speak because I am relying on certain provisions of the 1997 Constitution. Despite all that, the gentleman was taken to the commission. After a few questions, he refused to answer questions that relate to the period under which he had indemnity. What did we hear? He was told that he will be sent to the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, to be charged for contempt of the commission. In the press release, just after that, we heard the lead counsellor, Esafal, say a few things. One, he said the junta committed genocide, which by all standards and intents and purposes is untrue, it's not true. The ICC, the International Criminal Court, said nothing happened in the Gambia from 1994 to January 2017 that can be judged or seen to have been any genocide being committed. Who then is a Safal to come out with those pronouncements without backups? What we should learn from it is the intent, as I earlier said, that all these things are geared to mislead Gambians to reach conclusions that they have already judged. The same Safal said in his press briefings that the immunity clauses in the Constitution were meant only to protect the junta people. He even said Musa Janneh and others were not even involved. To that level, and to prove him wrong, I beg your indulgence so that I will read a few sections of that indemnity clause as provided for in paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the 1997 Constitution. I've not seen that document that I want to read. Somewhere. Huh? Yeah. No, it's not here. All right, I've written it somewhere. I have the 19. Give me the Constitution. I have the 1990, the current one. These ones were amended. Okay. All right. I'll just take a bit for all of us to know and understand and weigh it against what a Safal, who according to others is a legal luminary, but for us he may be one, but he is unprofessional in his job, in his duties. 13.1. No member of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, any person appointed minister by the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, or other appointees of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council shall be held liable or answerable before a court or authority or under this Constitution or any other law, either jointly or severally, for an act or omission in the performance of his or her duties. I will jump to, I go to 3 for you all to listen. 3 says, for the avoidance of doubt, it is declared that no action taken or purported to have been taken in the exercise of the executive, legislative, or judicial power by the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, or a member thereof, or by any person appointed by the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council in the name of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, except judges of the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal, shall be questioned in any proceedings whatsoever. And accordingly, it shall not be lawful for any court or tribunal to make any order or grant any remedy or relief in respect of any such act. And I go to the last one, which is 5. I'm not going to read all. 5 says, it shall not be lawful for any court or tribunal to entertain an action instituted in respect of an act or omission against a person acting or omitting to act on the instructions or authority of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council or a member thereof, and alleged to be in contravention of any law, whether substantive or procedural, in existence before or during the administration of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council. I will not read it all. This goes to indicate that it's not exclusive or it's not limited to the 5-man council. It's all their appointments, even messengers are protected. But these were the words of Isafal. When Yankuba went to was sent to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, we all heard him say he will teach him a lesson. Batambedu, who showed Gambians to epitomize decency, rule of law, and democracy, himself uttered and said he will teach him a lesson as if he owns the laws of the Gambia. What did he do? Rather than charge Yankuba Toure for contempt, he was immediately charged for murder. And Yankuba to date is in detention at Mile 2. The contempt charges that came later were thrown out. But what is most worrying is that those who professed and confessed to have killed the people are roaming around the streets of Gambia. Somebody who was only alleged, only once, is in custody in Mile 2. That is the new dispensation, the new Gambia we all cry over. Yeah, this was the paper I was looking at. So as I said, it is illegal to look into the period of the transition. If the commission goes to look into it, they have violated the constitution. In this circumstance, rather than them saying in their report that they will table a motion in parliament so that President Janneh can be criminally charged, because it is only that they can bring criminal charges against former presidents. Rather than do that, they should table parliament, they should table motion in parliament for President Barrow to be impeached for violating the 1997 constitution. Violating any provision of the constitution tantamounts to impeachment. Would parliament lend yes to a government-wide paper and the report of a commission which violated the constitution? I don't think so. If you look at the commission itself, if they are not doing what they want, they were not interested in law, procedure, or regulation. They were doing what they want outside the law. The commission deliberately violated section 204 subsection 1 of the 1997 constitution. It reads, where a commission of inquiry makes an adverse findings against any person, it shall, underline, it shall, mandatory, at the time of submitting its report to the president, inform such person of the findings and the reasons thereof. The commission submitted their report in March of 2017, towards the end of March. The law says, just latest at that time, all those people who have been affected adversely by the report, they should have been informed None of those people I asked were informed. And the law further states that if they are informed, within 3 months they have a right to appeal to the Court of Appeal against the judgments or the government white paper. Let's get this clear. This is not a court. A commission of inquiry is not a court. You sit before the commission, they pose you the questions they want, push you towards what answer they want, and then you say whatever you want and you go away. In a legal process, there is cross-examination of witnesses. If you say this, somebody will tell you, no, what about that? To make sure the truth is established. That's nowhere in the commission. So you can easily remote control the commission to get what you want. And that's what we have seen. We have seen witnesses who would come and say, President Janneh asked me to withdraw money. And where is the money? I gave it to President Janneh. President Janneh is not a signatory to that account. In ensuring justice, it is obligatory for you to provide proof, evidence, either a witness or a written document. Everybody knows that. But immediately you say President Janneh asked me to do it, the commission agrees. It's conclusive. No more interrogation. Where is the money? I gave it to him. Oh, it's fine. He took the money. And where is the money? He has embezzled it. They don't even want to know where the money is. A scenario where President Janneh asked the Social Security to provide money for the purchase of about 10 fire ambulances for the airport. They debited President Janneh for that money. They don't want to know where the money was spent. Fine. But we have seen recently that the Port Authority has given approval for payment for the erection of a police post at President Barrow's hometown, Mankamankunda. A parastatal. Within this short period, authorizing payment, that is legal. But this one is illegal. Let's all look at it. All these things are happening. That's why I said we are not going to make any allegations that we cannot prove. We are presenting our case for all of us to see, and then you will see why we arrive at the conclusions we arrived. As I said, the process in the commission, we all saw it. The processing, how people come and go. If you look at Ami Bensouda, the way he questions people, we all looked at it. And let me say this, the commission's report should be published. The president may not publish it if he feels that it has some security impact or whatever. But what is clear is the commission sat in public. So everything said there, then there could be nothing secret about it. But this is what happened. We all saw it. People were pushed to point fingers at President Janneh. We saw it. And the people there, if you remember, President Janneh set a commission on tax evasion. Those who were found wanting in that tax evasion commission of inquiry are the people sitting over to determine President Janneh's fate. Does it mean that we don't have other Gambians, independent-minded Gambians, honest and impartial Gambians, to sit down and give Gambians the truth? You expect us to believe those people? You expect us to believe Ami Bensouda's report when he himself has been found wanting? You expect us to believe that? Is he better than those people? Is he better than Borikoli, Buba Demba, Modu Sabali? Is he better than them? Now, let's go to the Commission's report submitted to government. The Commission submitted a report to government. And the government is supposed to come out with a white paper within 6 months. But we know that before that white paper, a lot of things had happened to various things before even government taking over, bringing out the white paper. As I said, sales of Janneh's properties and all these things, all those things happened. Our vehicles, everything happened, even before these conclusions were reached. But let's look at the government white paper. I heard President Adama Barrow saying that he is, whether you vote for him or not, he is president of every Gambian. I salute him for that, and it's true. He's my president. He is your president. Honestly. But he has not proven that by his actions. On 6. No, yeah, give me that one. Yeah. As I said, he has not proven that by his actions. The Commission of Inquiry made recommendations to government. Government on its own decided that this one we are not accepting and this one we are accepting. Then why do we have to set up a commission in the first place? Why don't they just decide that we are going to punish Lamin and Binta and leave Modu and Isaac? The commission recommended against the COP, the current COP, Alhaji Usman Sise. We are all aware. Remember, he is the current one. And the commission said that he was a signatory to some of the accounts of the First Lady. He had received about $2 million plus, etc., etc., etc. And very little about Buba Demba, about Borikoli, about others. And the government said they are not accepting the report on the COP Alhaji Sise, but accepted the report on Demba, Bori, and others who are seen to be APRC and not part of the government. Selective justice. Openly. Selective justice openly. Is it because Sise knows a lot that he should not be dismissed? If he is dismissed, he will unveil or reveal things that we don't know. Is it because of that? Or is it because he is part of them and these ones are part of the APRC or not part of his government? Is that the system of democracy, rule of law that we yearn for? Open day robbery, especially on a report where there are no counter questions to validate the truth. We have also seen that a young man like Mamadou Sabali, who throughout the report, you read the report throughout, he's not tagged for any amount of money that he has taken. He can be saying he assisted. But this one, they said he received 2-point-something million. And Mamadou Sabali, that young intellectual who did his best for this country, despite whatever limitations, you banned him for life. Is this not a witch hunt? Let's be honest. And yet, people like Noah Toure, Mamboure Ndiaye, and others were warned. said they are warned. Don't do it again. Look, we are here. We have not seen the entire report. But what that we have seen, these are conclusive. We all see it. Open, lopsided judgments. That's why I said if President Barrow says he is president of the entire Gambian people, true, but his actions don't display that. He is lopsided, he's one-sided, and he's allowing a clique of people within his system to draw the Gambia to a standstill. We will prove them. As I said, you look at the recommendations against the former Vice President Aissatou Njie Sedi, Akibayo of all people. People who are not part of the system. You just come and victimize them. As you like. As if you own the laws of this country. As if we don't matter. We are Gambians. The same rights you have. Let them not assume that we are all sleeping. And the government white paper further went to talk about President Janneh's total earnings. They said it's about 23 million plus their calculations. And therefore, he could not have purchased some of the properties he had purchased. Fine. I just want to know how they arrived at his legal earnings. How they come to know it. The man was a big farmer. A lot of other things. But the other side, we are aware, and it is being said, that senior coalition government officials bought properties in Latrikunda, in Bakau, Brusubi, and outside the Gambia. Some have built properties in millions of dollars just within a period of 2 years. If President Janneh cannot earn that for within 22 years, they should explain to us how they were able to earn those monies in 2 years or 1 year. I said, these people have made their judgments, and they, at all costs, will bring fake proofs to show Gambians that this is what is true. Now we begin to ask, these properties, some people even know the properties, so some properties were shown to us. And have you forgotten also, where is the $33 million that was lodged in the First Lady's Foundation that was being investigated? Media, tell us the final conclusions. The 57 old brand new pickups given to the National Assembly, at the time they were in the name of President Barrow. The insurance papers were in the name of President Barrow. When you people started talking and everybody started talking, the insurance papers were withdrawn and the new insurance papers were issued in the name of the National Assembly. If you live in glass houses, don't throw stones. All these things happened here. And a lot more allegations. Nobody talks about those things. And we are also aware that President Barrow is making his hometown, home village, a town now. He's building executive mansions costing millions of dollars. We even have street lights there now, solar systems. Look, I have said, despite the shortcomings of our leaders, we as Africans must begin to respect our leaders if they leave office. I'm not saying don't take them to account. In Europe and the Western world, those leaders don't do wrong. President Bush took America into war in the Gulf, in this place, in Iraq, where thousands and thousands of people were killed. A lot of things happen. But we Africans, we don't want to break that cycle. There is no perfection in human behavior. What we believe is, if a government comes into power, it should be able to look at the weaknesses and strengths of the former government, borrow its strength, put in regulatory frameworks to guard against its limitations, so that that government will do better than the previous government. And the subsequent government will do better. And we move forward. That's the only interest for Gambians. But throughout these 3 years, every corner of the globe, of the Gambia, Yaya Janneh APRC, Yaya Janneh APRC. No development, no efforts, nothing happening. It's all Yaya Janneh APRC. Every time. Has that helped Gambians? It will not help us. Talk about it, see how to regulate it, but provide the services. Students can no longer go to college now, because 7,000 now has been increased to about 12,000. And this government wants to justify that. When we were thinking of 2018 January, we are going to provide scholarship for university education in this country. You cannot sustain it. You cannot maintain the free, even free secondary education. You are now putting more burden on poor Gambians. Their families will go, but some of us, our parents cannot afford it, and therefore we will not have the opportunity to go to college or to go to university, because it's going to be, it cannot be afforded. Now, we go now to the Attorney General. He's the chief legal advisor and the custodian of our legal affairs. I told you, when Ba came in, what he portrayed to Gambians, all of us, was here is a young, brilliant lawyer who epitomizes the traits of decency, morality, rule of law, democracy, good governance, and everything. Ba Tambedu. His first knock came when his brother, senior brother, Sirif Tambedu, if you remember, Yankuba Baji's wife, who taped him when they were investigating Yankuba. We never heard of anything, only that he's gone. Ba Tambedu. We are aware again, the same champion is involved in the passport scandal. He is trying to push the blame to President Barrow and said he only applied and it was approved by the president. Ba is a legal luminary. He's a professional lawyer. You go to apply a passport for your mom, for your stepmom, for your sisters, all because they are going to Mecca. My mother does not go to Mecca, or your mother. But at that side, even if there are regulations that give them privilege, Ba, who shows himself to be a champion of decency and morality, should not have done that. Even if they had that privilege. It is not decent, morally incorrect And he had to return the passports. Why return the passports? Same Batambedu. In his own words, I am saying this, it is this clique of people who are going to destroy the Barrow government, to put it to a standstill. The same Batambedu, if you remember, who in addressing the soldiers of this country, thanked them for making the most attempts on the Yahya Jammeh's government. Attorney General, Minister of Justice, you thank soldiers for making attempted coups against an elected government. However, whatever dislike you may have, or hatred, or grudge, you are part and parcel of a system of governance. You are a responsible decision. You must not come out with your emotions. You deal with situations from a national perspective, not from a personal perspective. That's Batambedu. You expect us to honestly believe that man? No wonder. Alhaji Barrow, a coupist, 30th December coup, who escaped and went to America, found wanting and sentenced. When he was coming here, government minister gave him a red carpet welcome. A coupist. So Bar's statement goes to prove that. And he is employed as a lead researcher at the TRRC against Yahya Jammeh and his government. Now no more is the barrel of the gun. Now we will give you the pen to do it. You think people, are we sleeping? And we said, we want to make it clear, as a principled and organized party, any attempt on this government, that's the Barrow government, by anybody, illegally, if you escape, if we are in government, you come, we prosecute you. Whoever you are. We believe in the rule of law, democracy, and fair play. I said Batambedu and his cronies. President Barrow has to be careful. Some of his cronies are people like the government spokesperson Ibrahim Sankare, Esafal, and others. We are aware in a recent radio interview with the government spokesperson Ibrahim Sankare, who left the source of this country about 23, 24 years ago. 25. He said a lot of things, but he showed his true color, that he is full of vengeance, grudge, hatred. When he was asked, despite all what you are saying against the Yahya Jammeh government, have they not brought any single development in this country? His response, no, I have not seen one. Go to the radio studios, the Gambia studios. Even the schools is goats and sheep that meet there. Go to Serekunda market. He was again called, he was again told, you want to tell me that you have not seen any? He said he has not seen any. I said that I want to remind him. What about the establishment of the University of the Gambia? The Combo Coastal Road Network, with its electricity and water. In 1994, when he was living here, 1995, there were only 12 senior government schools in this country. 12 senior secondary schools in this country, 1994. And none of those schools were built by this government, by the previous government, or PPP. 12. That's where we all hustled to attend. And none of them built by the 33-year-old government. At the time President Janneh left the source of this country, there were over 120 senior secondary schools in this country. You don't see that. Even the permanent structures, even those schools before him were temporary structures, mud blocks, sometimes clintings. We all saw them here. In fact, when President Janneh was coming to power, it's because of water sales and the school children carrying tables on their head were some of the reasons why there was a coup. Ibrahim Silla Sankare said he never saw those things. The electricity expansion around the urban, suburban, and the rural electrification phase 1 and 2, street lights in villages, Sankare said he did not see that. At 1994, we had 2 hospitals, Bansang and Royal Victoria, all built during the colonial time. No government before, that's the PPP government, built 1 hospital for Gambians. Yeah, Janneh and the APRC built hospitals for Gambians, first of its kind. The North Bank of the Gambia, which usually was called Ba Nyajao, the evil side of the Gambia, we have never witnessed 1 kilometer of macadamized road for the 400 years of colonial rule and the 33 years of the PPP regime. Go from Bara to Kerewan, Kerewan to Farafenye, Farafenye to Lamenkoto, Lamenkoto to Pasamas, the end of the Gambia, all done by Babili Mansa and the APRC. The Kerewan Bridge, Miniminiam, was bridged by him. Farafenye Hospital, electricity into the Badibus, Nyomis, and everywhere. Sankare said he has not seen those things. Even the Mandinaba, Soma, Basse, Willingara Road, the citadel of democracy, the symbol of rule of law and democracy, the state-of-the-art building of the National Assembly of the Gambia, where former President Janneh himself was buried. President Jawara was buried. He goes to Banjul every day. He has not seen it. Even his office is located in the GRTS building built by the APRC. His table was bought by the APRC. He has not seen it. He is blinded. He is grudge, envy, hatred. He will not see. We provided free education from primary to secondary school. I'm sure his kids were among, or his relatives' kids were among. He has not seen it. These are the comments of these people who are the clique, who are bent on burying President Janneh and APRC, and somehow they will fail.
Thank you.
We remember again Adelaide Sose, the vice chairman of the TRRC. The people who are to establish the truth and reconcile Gambians. That's the purpose. And pay reparation to people, victims. You go to UK, you're saying that the obstacles to reconciliation in the Gambia is Foni and the Jolas. A vice chairperson of a reconciliatory commission. And honestly, we are all aware, the most law-abiding, honest people who are willing to follow leadership, accept leadership, there is no other tribe better than the Jolas in this country.
Thank you.
They are sidelined. They were pushed away. You don't talk about that. These are the comments from those people who are managing the affairs of the commissions of inquiry and the TRRC. Among the leadership, I talked about Esafal, the lead. I talked about Adelaide, the deputy vice chairperson. You expect us to believe that those people will establish the truth here? No. So it is clear that Batambedu and his cronies, of course backed by President Adama Barrow, he knows these things. We had thought that probably he never knew he would bring a solution to these things. But it is clear that he knows them and he's acting on them. He's part of the whole thing. The Faba Banta incident, they investigated. A report came out. Most other things, they investigate. Beginning of 2017, Haruja Gata was shot dead in Kanilai. To date, no investigation. Not one person of government has even visited the scene. Haruna is not human, he's not a Gambian, and that Kanilai is not part of the Gambia, nor is Fonyi part of the Gambia. How can you convince us that you want reconciliation and you are a government for the people of the Gambia? We were attacked at Mankamankunda on our tour. A small village we could have raised down to ashes. We were again attacked in Busumbala. Investigations, we have not seen them. APRC, for whatever reasons, we have not seen them. If you remember when our first independence celebration at Independence Square, at the stadium, the coalition people, mostly UDP, were returning, and at Kanfenda, they stopped at the checkpoint there, and then they had word with those girls and boys who were selling to them. They came down the buses, big buses, full of people. There was a fracas. The police came, put those people in the buses and asked them to go, went around Kamfenda, pregnant women, old men, school children, everything were arrested. 52 were arrested. In this country, the new Gambia, where we have rule of law and democracy, all happened to us in this country. You expect us to believe that this government meant good for us? Even here, when there was these elections, local government elections, we won Talinding North and they won Talinding South. They came jubilating. We were here. They came. They were stoning us in here. Stoning us. We asked the police that we want to live here and go to the mayor's compound so that to avoid them stoning, because we have a family here, and leave the main road. The police granted us to leave. We were going. When I came out with the mayor, they threw the tear gas on us. It's serious. If you remember, President Janneh left the source of this country based on an agreement negotiated by the ECOWAS, AU, and the United Nations. Immediately President Janneh left the source of this country, that document was thrown into the dustbin. An agreement. And that's why President Janneh left. We challenge the United Nations, the AU, and the UN to put pressure on this government to ensure that that document is adhered to strictly. Otherwise, they will lose credibility within the region and indeed the entire world. They will no longer be able to negotiate between parties. Which party will trust them? You remember the evil nature of this government. When they took over, the tractors President Janneh gave to farmers, women groups and youths, Gambians, The proceeds from those tractors don't come to State House or to Yaya Jammeh to anybody. They own it, it's their own. They are Gambians. This government went round, took all those tractors, put them at police stations and the chief's compounds. Some got nothing there. And they wanted to sell the tractors to one man to come and buy all those tractors at, I don't know, then it was, I don't know how many $1 million. I think the outcry stopped that. Where are the tractors? How would we expect farmers to produce more? Rather than put them away, give it to people to work. Government serves people, Gambians. They are not given, it's not given to Senegalese or Guineans. All those because they were given by the Yaya Jammeh government. I am enumerating these things to make people believe why these people we believe cannot bring about justice and that they have reached conclusions and they are just remote controlling to give flesh to their conclusions. If you look at the diplomatic passport scandal that's currently on, you will look at one passport number that I have seen which reads about D0014 something, 1,400 and something. I saw the passport. Issued around 17th of July, 2019. And you see another diplomatic passport, D00, 16,000 and something. It means within 8 days, 2 weeks, almost 15,000 passports were issued. Either sold or issued. And I heard Ibrahim Silla or Ibrahim Sankare saying that there was a newspaper that talked about Yaya Jammeh giving Chinese 9,000 passports. Sankare. Hey. Is Yaya Jammeh in government today? No. APRC is not in government today. Let them bring out the list. You see, we can no longer be fooled. This is what they did. They will tell you we inherited it from former government. When they were deporting Gambians, they said a lot of things that it was started by Yaya Jammeh. Yaya Jammeh signed. It became proof and shown clearly that this government is not out for Gambians. They are out for themselves and their families. Most of them, their families are not with us today. And somebody was asking me, Abakar, you were a senior government officer. You had diplomatic passport. I said, yes. What about your kids or your wives? I said, let them go into records. Even me, I had not even applied. It was the assembly who applied for me. Look, Gambians, we cannot have a perfect government, but we must make sure we have a government that delivers to our expectations. We cannot continue to live under unnecessary hardship and mayhem. Everybody pointing at each other. People who about 3 years ago could not even afford a care like that. Today we see them, how they live. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, we were talking about this deportation. And currently, I think there are about, I don't know, is it 2,000 plus Gambians who are supposed to be deported from Germany? 2,400. 2,400. What is government doing about that? You see, you swear to defend Gambia and Gambians. At all cost, you should put your life in defense of the Gambia and Gambian people, not to dance to the tunes of the West. Where is the 1.7 billion that every Gambian was going to get $1 million? And at the time we said these are promises, pledges, and most of these pledges are tied up. Hardly do people have 20-30% of pledges. But this government went shouting around the country. Gambia economy should another man should Gambia Bankoka. Akodole. The government is almost at a standstill, know it or not. Nothing can be developed. No money. They are now trying to organize an economic conference in Spain to woo investors to come to the Gambia. Governance is not a joke. And you will realize that these people, the West, it's only their interest. They never give anything for charity. Always a thing is tight. That's why APRC and Yaya Jammeh refused all orders and stood for Gambia. And he did it, and we have seen it. In conclusion, the APRC, as per reasons adduced here, rejects the Janneh Commission report and the subsequent government-wide paper. The processes were remote managed to give flesh to their already concluded judgments. In this circumstance, we demand that government revises its bias and lopsided decisions against President Jammeh, APRC, and innocent Gambians affected by the report. We further demand that our party vehicles, which are nowhere to be found or seen, be immediately returned to the party. We further demand that ECOWAS, AU, and the United Nations put more pressure on the Barrow government to make them honor the MOU signed. We want to make it categorically clear. Let our discipline and respect for authority be interpreted as weakness or cowardice. These qualities are part of us. We are disciplined and we respect authority. But we are resolute and we are poised to fight to safeguard our rights and establish the truth. We are prepared and we fear no sacrifice to surmount all obstacles to ensure that our rights are established and the truth prevails. Finally, I want to comment on an issue. That is the issue of Kitim Jaju. You can see him here. Kitim made audios. He had been on it since the onset. From the MA saga, before the MA saga, up to now, they are on it. He alleged that there is a committee, an elite committee between the APRC, led by me, himself, and Usman Rambo. And he said they should ask me, and that it was established by President Jammeh. And that before anything is done, he should sit with us. A man who knows nothing, he's not well schooled, he's traveled, but he is primitive in nature and thoughts. We want to make it very clear that all what Kitim Jaju said is untrue. He made allegations against President Janneh and said, let them ask me. I am saying he is lying. I want to send signals to all APRC members and sympathizers that they should be very careful with Kitim Jaju and his close associates, cronies, I call them. And we are sending our warning to Kitim. He either toes the party lines and conforms to party regulations, or the party will decide on his fate. We want to make that very clear. So we, the executive, the entire membership of the executive, disassociate ourselves from Kitim. He knows nothing. He does not even know the constitution of the party. The worst side is he's talking about President Janneh. I bet my life and my prayers that President Janneh would never talk to Kitim. This we want to make clear because some of our members, executive members, are being called, Kitim said this. Who is Kitim? Who is he? So we want to make that clear, and want to thank the press corps for your time and pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide all of us so that we can put our country in better stead and so that peace, progress and prosperity can reign in this country for all of us. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much. It has been a marathon press briefing, well articulated, and all key issues as far as the daily happenings of the government is concerned are all been revealed. We have to take the time to give you a detailed press briefing because you are all a principal witness that from 2017 to date, there have been smear campaign on the APRC, just like the party leader rightly mentioned, trying to see how APRC will not exist again in the soils of the Gambia. But with his conviction and commitment, determination to salvage the party, which was challenging in 2017, I don't think there is anything whatsoever that can stop APRC from continuing to grow from strength to strength. On that note, members of the media houses, you each have 2 questions.
First one is here.
Just listen to me. You have 2 questions. And if you ask your question, it is 2 in 1, that's the end of it.
Yes.
You can ask a question, and I'll give you a chance to ask a follow-up question.
Is it each media house or each individual?
So, each media house, rather. Each media house. Thank you for that clarity.
All the media houses will be asking those who raise their hand.
That's all.
Okay, I'll give opportunity to those who raise their hands. But each and every media house has the privilege to ask 2 questions. All right? All right, I start with you. What you do is identify yourself, the media house you represent, and then you come up with your question. Tell us who you are and the media house you represent.
Thank you very much, Honorable Abakari Tomanjara, for the brilliant expose that you have currently done. Your explanation is clear, despite the fact that your opinions are yours. You are entitled to your views. But my question is, I am Abubakar Sadiq and I am with you are claiming about the properties, the frozen accounts of the APRC in the last 22 years. And that the way or in the manner in which the government is treating it is not constitutional, and you are raising a big question that has to do with the existence of those properties. My question to you is it constitutional for the APRC to claim ownership of those properties or the closing account of Gambia? Number one. That's my first question. Constitutional for the APRC to claim ownership of the properties or Gambia? That's my first question. My second question has to do with the ICC. You said after following investigation, thorough investigation, the IEC, that's the International Criminal Court, has come to the conclusion that nothing of genocide or human rights violation has been occurred in this country, which could have led Janneh to ICC. Huh? And in your own opinion, in your own candid opinions, Honorable Jata, do you believe that human rights violation in the past 22 years occurred? Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Sedikan, for your question. Your first question actually is it constitutional for the APRC to claim ownership of our properties? I have not seen any constitutional provision that was quoted to deny us ownership of those properties. There was no court order, court case that went to determine that those properties should not be owned by us. So by all standards and means, those are the only reasons why you can deny somebody ownership of a property, even if it does not belong to him. You go to court, court decides it. I am unable, I have not seen any of that. Two, let's say our accounts, they were frozen. Our vehicles, they were seized. We expect that they should make a determination to say that APRC vehicles seized will not be returned because of A, B, C, and D. But no mention of it. You think we will forget it? And where are the vehicles? Even if we want to claim them, where are they? If you seize property, you put it aside until the determination. Those vehicles are nowhere to be seen. Over 20-something vehicles. Where are they? Is that the rule of law? So we have all rights, until proven otherwise, to claim for our properties. Nobody came to us to tell us, we have taken your this property because of A, B, and C. For our accounts, I am a contributor to that account from my salaries. President Janneh knows nothing about that account. Why should we freeze it? And if we freeze it, why no determination? How are they getting their monies for their operations? So is that fair? We have been tolerant all along. We have been keeping quiet, waiting for determination. Determination is done, nothing is said. We are resolute. We will fight to the last minute to establish the truth and fight for our rights at all cost. And I must say this: APRC as a party is a force to be reckoned with in this country. You like it or not? We are a determinant factor in anything in this country. Even the peace is because of APRC. Let's get that clear. Your second point was whether there are human rights violations in this country, whether I believe there were. I said in my opening statement that there are violations of rights during our time. There are violations of rights now. And everywhere else in the world there are violations. Everywhere. No exception. The best of democracies, there are violations. You see, the essence of governance and the beauty of selecting people who have moral values is that some of those violations should go to the barest minimum. And if they do exist, we push against it. We talk against it. And we should not allow individuals, operators, to our knowledge, to continue to be doing those things. The world is a process. We cannot have a perfect system. The only perfect system is Islam and probably Christianity. What else? There is no perfect system. So yes, there were violations. And that's why I said the TRRC and the Commission should look at the records of the APRC, the strengths of the party governance here, the weaknesses and limitations here. They will borrow from our strengths. They will put measures to prevent a recurrence of our limitations and weaknesses. And we move forward. What is done cannot be undone. This is what we are saying. But there are people bent on the other side who have grudges against the system because they were punished for their behaviors. And we will not sit back. We will not sit back to look at those people to annihilate us as Gambians between the bounds of the law.
Thank you.
The genocide. He talked about genocide, but when he talked about it, the question was, do I believe that there were violations in this country?
No, you've answered this question.
That was the answer.
I said, you know the ICC, the International Criminal Court, you said investigate, and they come to the conclusion that, you know, Gambia, in the Gambia, not such thing can lead Janneh to such a place. So now, I said, in your own opinion,
where there were violations.
That's okay.
Yeah, this is what I have answered. I have answered that question. There are violations, but the violations is not the Human Rights Commission. The National Criminal Court is not for violations of human rights. It's for genocide and other things. So those things are not for that. And even if that is so, is it African leaders who are to be going there? Kosovo? And all other places. Why Africa? Why Africa? Why Africa? Why us?
Yeah. I think I will. Sorry. You know, I have no control over further elaborating on the question, which has actually opened room for Mr. Sedikan to ask a third question. So don't judge me as biased. I said 2 questions for Media House, but my leader had the energy and the anxiety to, answer his question to an extent. It opened up, Sedikan having room to ask another question. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Otherwise, he will jump on me. your name and the Media House you represent.
Okay, I am Keba Ansumane. I work for Chronicle newspaper. I would like to ask the fact that the government-wide paper has banned your party leader, that is Janneh, plus the former Vice President Asad. What is going to be your position? And also, you did say there has been selective justice. Can you expound on that, please? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I said in my conclusions, I said we demand that government revises its decision on these things. That's our point. And I said further that we will not stay by and look around whilst we are being bullied or we are being denied our rights. We are resolute, we will do everything and we will sacrifice everything to make sure that the truth is established. That's what I said. These are commission. As I said, these are commission's report and all this. It's not a law court issue. If it were a law court issue, I would be a little bit worried. But these are people's own calculations, remote controlled conclusions. We are not worried about that. If you remember, this man, Alaji Barrow, do you think if Yajame was here, he will come here on a red carpet welcome? Huh? No. Well, but he is here. Tomorrow also, it's possible APRC government will be here, and another thing will happen. Your next question was
selective justice. Expand on it. You say expand on the selective justice.
Selective justice.
Yes.
Huh?
Janneh has been banned. Now, what is the next move? Are you going to select a new party leader who's to say?
No, it's not. This is government's white paper is not conclusive. This is what we are saying. It's not conclusive. We have a lot of avenues to our disposal. And our first avenue is to express an opinion on it and to ask government to reverse. Our second will come, the third move will come, but we are saying we will do everything humanly possible. And we are willing to sacrifice even our lives to make sure that the truth is established. This is what we are saying. And the other thing is what?
Answer. Selective justice. If you can expand whether there exists What do you mean by selective justice? If you can expand. It's okay, you mean for English person. Yes, Jawa, I'm giving Jawa the... okay, from Jawa I'll come to you. Oh, no, the lady first. Yes, Jawa.
Thank you, Honorable. My name is Kumar Jawa and I work for the Point during the last, APRC, Congress that was held in Korea, the party came up with a solution. And among them was that the executive shall issue a declaration calling for an immediate resignation of the ICU chairman, who the party claimed that, have achieved his objective, saying that he have achieved his objective that former President Janneh have finally leave. And the other question is, what is the party doing? Did the party enjoy, are you coming out with a solution? As he was part of the solution that was passed, during your Congress in Korea. And the other question is about, the issue of Tufa Jallo. During the last press conference, the party said, there is no position for former President Janneh about the alleged rape issue. Did the party now engage former President Janneh concerning about that allegation of sexual or rape?
Yeah, as regards the issue of the IEC chairman, we have shown our reasons that why it's not born out of enmity or grudge. It's born out of facts that unveil themselves in the process. We had the IEC chairman himself expressing happiness in getting Janneh out, chairman of Independent Electoral Commission. So we are saying for that institution to gain credibility, the chairman goes. We will never trust that chairman again. And we in our various consultations, our various moves, our various write-ups, we have said these things. When the time comes, that's the time we are going to establish what we are going to prove what we can do. Too far, we said categorically, did you ask President Janneh? We said no. You will ask somebody something that has element of truth or anything. For me, it's derogatory for me to ask President Janneh.
You put that in the document. It's in the document.
That lady, who should be thankful to President Janneh for whatever reasons, for monetary facts. There are people who are just bent on tarnishing the image of Yahya Jammeh at all costs, so that Gambians will antagonize him. And the irony is, those remarks and these things serve as fertilizer for the APRC. Alas will. We are growing bigger and bigger, and I even want to believe one day most of you here will be part of the APRC. Because if you are to follow the truth, you will see. We will establish the truth, and you will see it.
Good. Thank you. Yes, can I take the lady? Then you. Sorry, she's the first. Yes. Okay.
My question is, the Commission gave a lot of recommendations as possible punishments for the mentioned charges. Somewhere
For the
banned from
possible punishment for those alleged.
Others were dismissed. I want to know, how do you see those punishments?
Yeah, thank you very much. Others were dismissed. I'm not aware of anybody who is dismissed. Those recommended to be dismissed are part of them, and they said they have not agreed. It's those that are those affected who are not part of them that they have agreed to punish. We have said it here. I cannot convince myself, honestly, that young people like, you see this man, he was the deputy chief of protocol. Punished for a short period.
Less than 6 months.
He's punished. Somebody who has been there through Yahya Jammeh, throughout Barrow, is forgiven. Buba Demba was, where is Buba here?
Yeah.
Chief of COP, chief of protocol, young boy like these people. For what? What has he done? That Alaji Silla has not done. Alaji Sise has not done. What has he done that those who were warned have not done? This is our problem. I cannot imagine seeing talents like Mursabali, these young boys who were schooled and they are the future leaders of this country, to ban them and to ban them for life. Throughout your stay. Ma'am, I mean, is that sensible? Not by any court of law, but by a commission of inquiry that was determined by a government white paper as to what they want and what they don't want. It's not based on any facts. We don't like him, we like him. Can we accept that? This is the precarious situation we find ourselves. And this is our concern, it should be your concern. All of us. It may be him today, it may be you tomorrow. So our position is very clear. We are saying that government revisits its white paper to ensure that justice for all is done, and not this lopsided preferential treatment of people by a government that's supposed to serve all of us. That's what we are saying.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me take a second lady for the first time.
My name is Sally. So my question is the APRC going to challenge the commission report at the courts? And the second question is, will we see a possible alliance between APRC and the next election?
Whether we are going to challenge it in the courts, you see, I said here, we do our things step by step. You know, we don't jump to conclusions. What we did now is, the little we heard of the report, we made our remarks known, and we made it known to government. We will make a write-up to government. Now, depending on the outcome, we will take the next step. If the next step means, for instance, going to court, fine. If the next step means we have to take the streets and protest against the judgment, fine. Whatever it takes, we are going to do our things in order and within the law. That's what we are going to do. The other thing you talked about is
Possible alliance with Barrow.
possible alliance with Barrow. You see, in politics there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. You know, that's the thing. You always have an interest. We cannot rule out anything with any political party. What we do know is that we are green and we will ever be APRC. Okay. Two, we know one thing, that we are the biggest and the greatest party in this country. You like it, you accept it, that's fine. These are facts we know. If we are going to reconcile and negotiate, you negotiate on the basis of certain things. There has to be certain things. That's what we know. And then lastly, we cannot be silenced. We cannot be silenced. We are going to continue to be the most disciplined party. We will have no insults. We will respect leadership. We will respect the law to the extent that we are pushed against the wall. We will not let people slap us until we die. We said we are waiting for God. No. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, gentlemen. Your name and the media you represent.
Commendation to all the achievements made by the Labour Party. But my question is, what does the APRC want after being accorded the chance to rule, to govern for 22 years, and we went dictatorial?
And we went dictatorial. You see, there is no system that has no dictatorial tendencies. You know, dictatorship is Barrow not dictatorial. Barrow told you, I will be here for 5 years. So what we are saying is, you see, if you, like me as leader of the APRC, there are times I will say no to that. Because at the end, I am held accountable for it. When I heard President Barrow talk about, Janneh was the president, he was the minister, he was the governor, he was the alcalo, he was everything. Now people are free. I said, Gamia, you pay this price. And that's the price he's paying. We voted for you. You are in government. You delegated your responsibility to these people. You must supervise them. You must ensure that they do it. Otherwise, we are going to hold you responsible and accountable. You cannot do it, I get you out. You do it wrongly, I take you to court. That's what we expected. But you want to smile for everybody, and you think people are fools. So what we are saying is, for us, our problem is we went dictatorial. You agree that we have achieved a lot of things, huh? And it's because of those tendencies of some dictatorial aspect that's why we are able to achieve it. I will tell you, the APRC achieved a lot within 2 years. There was no parliament, there were no executives, nothing. So there was no agreement. What is bad, if you have a leadership that's not committed to the people and he becomes a dictator, then you have a problem. But if you have a committed person whose interest is the welfare of his people, his dictatorial traits are geared towards giving those people the best. Thank you. To the best of his ability. So what we are saying is, we had our limitations, and for us, we've learned from our weaknesses. I can assure you that. Otherwise, we would have been taking the streets all along. We had a lot of things happen to us. We could have been doing what the UDP used to do with us. But have you ever seen APRC on the streets? With all what has happened to us, we want to serve as an example for other opposition people. That to be an opposition does not mean you go violent. That to reject government, that you cannot talk to your government. When you are invited, you don't want to go. You don't want to liaise with them. And they are the people in government. We make sure we engage and we talk. We are a government in the waiting, and the next government, God willing, inshallah, we will work with you. It's going to be an APRC government.
Yes, your final question. No, he has one more question. Please, he has one more question. Yes.
Are you still an APRC still in denial that you did any wrong?
No. I said one thing. I said APRC, 22 years, we had our limitations, our weaknesses, and all these things. And I said again that President Adama Barrow has his limitations, weaknesses, and everything.
Thank you.
You forgot the Faraba Banta incident, the Haruna Jata, the many deaths in the streets here. Ismaila Tamba shot by a man just because at the traffic junction. All those things. We should learn from them, and then ensure that we improve on them. We are not denying anything. But the allegations, the so-called allegations that people are cooking out about murders and all these things are untrue. This is what we are saying.
Thank you. I mean, let me just make this point clear. Each and every one of you is at liberty to ask whatever question you want to ask. So that's his opinion, that's the question he wants to ask. Whether it was asked 10 times, he have the right to ask. That's his opinion. All right?
Yeah.
I have two questions. The first one is, we know that the political landscape is shifting, and there are people calling for President Barrow to step down. Others are pushing ahead another plan. Then they are making it very clear that Barrow should respect the constitutional mandate. What is your question? Second question. 5 former members of so-called their squad testified before the Constitutional Commission, and they confess to have carried out some act of human rights violation. And they say that they did that at the direction of the Janneh. So what is your position?
Yeah, let me begin with that. They said it was at the direction. Did they say that Janneh told them to do it, or through a third party? One, they said my boss said Janneh said, or my boss said somebody said Janneh said. One, if an order is illegal, you are not to carry out illegal orders. Orders carried out must be legal, backed by law. It's not an excuse to say, tell him to go and kill his mother and his wife. And two, for those people, they were in custody for almost 2 years plus, not free. When the commission when the TRRC was turning around, remember what people anticipated about what people are going to say was not coming forth. Even Senator Sabali, when he came his first day, what he said changed overnight. Huh? I'm coming. I'm not insinuating. I am telling you. I am telling you that they were remote control. What I'm saying is these people were in detention. Now, they were just told that you are going to the commission, TRRC. And then they were forcefully bailed. Released. Against all the victims said no. Gambians said no, you cannot bail these people, they are killers. They were bailed. Why? Why were they not bailed earlier, before they went to the TRRC? 2 years in detention. Why only when you went to TRRC to say what they want to hear?
Thank you.
Why? Sorry, and the idea of Kariko, this one, they said, this man told me to go and do this. My friend, we should pass that stage. I asked this man, go and get that man there, get his neck tied up and slaughter him. He goes to this man and tell him, go, this man said, go and do it, and you go and do it, you pay the price. Only legal orders should be obeyed. So that is one thing. So that one, you know, we felt that these people were manipulated with and they were given, and then they were assured of freedom and they went to do what they want and they were released. The other one is the 3-year judgment.
3 years, 5 years.
Indeed, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, there was an arrangement from our perspective. There was an arrangement, because otherwise, why were not bailed before? Why only after you went to the TRRC?
Thank you.
Why? You were there for 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years. People were crying for bail, you were not revealed. But you were brought in to go and testify at the TRRC. You said what they want to hear, you come, they said they will bail you by force. Are we not human?
3 years, 5 years. So
3 years, 5 years. Our position, I think I once made it clear to these things. We as a party don't belong to any of these people. We are not part of the 3 years, nor are we part of the 5 years. Because at the time these pledges were made, it was not made to us, it was made to other political parties who voted them into power. And when they came up as a coalition, they agreed at their own levels, probably 3 years, which we all agree. Yeah? Yeah, they agreed on the 3 years.
You are
so
hijacking and asking endless questions.
Yeah. So when that happened, what I do know is that those 3 years is not a legal binding document. If President Barrow decides to go for 5 years, we can tell him that you are not honest, you don't keep your promises. We can say a lot of things against him. But that's not our business. What we are saying is APRC, we are waiting. We are referees, waiting. But we are part of the Gambia and we want peace in the Gambia. When the time comes, we will decide whether we are going left or we are going right. And be rest assured, wherever we fall, carries the day. If we say 3 years, then unfortunately Barrow will come down. If we say 5 years, it means Barrow will have the opportunity to go for 5 years. But these things will be determined by the Gambia's interests and our interests. Full stop.
Yes.
Engage the coalition leaders to follow the MOU. If possible, this people do not follow the MOU, is it that the APRC My second question is that you have alluded here that this commission of inquiry, this Janneh commission and the APRC, the people who are there, they are ineligible. Not that they are competent, but they are ineligible.
They are not credible.
They are ineligible in the sense that they are not clean. People like Pensula, you have alluded that there was a council at the Social Security and Housing Finance. that he was involved in something that this significantly was there. And second one about Alain Barrow. And not even Alain Barrow and this one, like Kinje and Mustafa, what are commissioners and if you look at the TRS Act, what are ineligible to be a commission? Because like Kinje, he ran for a primary election in North Bank as a chairperson of the one area council. And he lost to this current one, Bola. And second one also, Mustafa also ran as a candidate in the parliamentary election. And according to TRS Act, anybody who is seen, who is recognized as a supporter of a political party should not be a member of the commission. So what did your party, as long as your party has a member, what are your plans to make sure that you table this to the National Assembly so that we can help the TRC, those people who are eligible to?
Yeah, thank you very much. You added to the volumes we have against the system. You know, you added to that. And we will add this to the volumes. One thing I want to make clear, you see, this commission, the TRRC and these things, is picked up in a way that they will want to get what they want. That's our point. That's what we want you to understand. Most of the people there, look at them and look at their ways. Two, you see, for us, the commission, if it were that what the government did to us was going to determine whether we are going to support 3 years or not, we would have been saying 3 years. Because what happened to us never happened to any other political party during this regime. From seizures, from our arrests, detentions, courts, anything you can imagine. Dismissals, everything happened to us. We could have said Barrow should go out. But you see, we are not ruled by emotions or grudges. We expect that as Barrow also grows, he will learn and see the truth, daylight. But he has to take care of his cronies. Those people will mislead him to a standstill. I said it here. So that is not our determinant factor. Our position is very clear. We want to give them a fair, they put it together, let them sort it out together. We wish they sort it out amicably. But when it comes to the whims, and we know that we are all part of the country, some of the actions may be negative against Gambians, we are going to take our position. And we have said it clear that whichever side we fall on carries the day. Sure. But to say whether they are doing bad to us will determine that no. Otherwise, we will not have even had two thoughts about it. We will just say, Barrow ID, let him go. What he has done to us. No, but we are not saying that.
Yes. That was information.
That is about... Yeah.
We have just seen on Monday, National Assembly, they suspend the House because of that. They want the executive to be present there. So the executive is not there. And you see, when they voted, 24 assistants. So we have open-minded people in the House, like Halifa Salah and Janneh. So the people like Honorable Musa Amulyati can tackle those things that the TRC is targeted because of those people who are serving there. That's information.
Yeah, I can assure you that we have competent assembly members, and with facts given, they will take everything because they are fighting for natural justice. They will take everything on board. All what you will do, for instance, is to liaise with them and give them more information and documentations on the issue. But we will continue to carve out. We have been saying this. You've gone to the extent of 2 others, but their bosses themselves, we have said about it. But to date, nobody is talking about it. These things look like we don't have independent, impartial people in this country who can take up these responsibilities. Is that true?
About 2 parts of the press conference I was here, you are talking about the issue of Alain Barrow.
Yes.
So still nothing is done. So this is what I'm telling you.
It's information.
All right. You are right. We have noted it down, and our MPs have noted it down.
Yeah. Yes.
So if we are rejecting the report today, are you telling us that either Janneh made mistake or all those people were lying? Just the other question I have.
Can we make it one, then you come to the next one?
Quickly.
No, let me answer this so that unless I forget, so that you come with your second one. We will give you the chance. The witnesses you said were Janneh's workers.
They were under employment by government.
You know, let me give a synopsis, at least something for you to understand. It was an APRC government, but it does not necessarily mean all workers in the government were APRC. Some of the very workers that we come to understand were even undermining the government. They were not part of it. They were part of another political party. One. That's one aspect. You have witnessed yourself Janneh's own selected cabinet ministers and the tycoons who were every time saying Janneh, 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 every time. Even before he left, you saw them, they took out their gowns and threw it at him, and they went into thin air. That's the human being. I can trust you, and you pretend that you can pretend to show me that you are my good man, when actually you are full of hate. So, what we have, whether they are his brothers or his workers, what we are saying is we expect justice to happen in the process. And looking at the process, you are only pushed towards saying something against Janneh, and you are okay. That's what we are saying. But it doesn't mean all the workers. Janneh found most of these workers in governance. Some of them were there. Some of them were employed even not to his notice. Some of them are not APRC. Most of them, in fact, were not APRC. So it was not a matter of that. It was a matter of the process itself. We saw the process flawed. That's what we are saying. Your second question?
Yes, my second question is, looking at the government white paper, what it recommends or what it decides is to seize all properties belonging to former President Janneh. Now, you are claiming that APRC also is not able to get back its property. So what is the dividing line between what belongs to Janneh and what belongs to the party? Because we think Janneh have never appeared as a person, but as a member of the APRC.
I was not going to expect this question from you. If one cannot differentiate between Fabakary Tombong and the APRC, what Janneh owns, he owns. What the party owns. If Janneh buys a car for himself and his family, does that belong to the party?
No.
If APRC is given a vehicle for the party, does that belong to Janneh? Unless you are telling us APRC is Janneh only. Fabakary, I have no say. I'm not part. He is not part. Then it will not be a party. Yeah, just let me land. So I will assure you that the account we are, let's say, some of the vehicles given to us that these people have seized, we are donated by some of their own people to the APRC. Private. Is that from state funds? They know it. They only want to deny us access to transport so that we will not be able to have impact. The account, I'm telling you, if you talk about other government accounts, fine. But an account that Fabakary pays his money into, as a member of the party, a senior member of the party, ministers, MPs, senior members, we do our fundraisings, we do everything to look for money. You seize that, you freeze that. President Janneh does not even know how money goes into those. He does not even know those ones. So how can you tell us that you are freezing? And if you do so, for whatever reasons, now you must come out with a statement. We have taken it now. We have seized your vehicles. Because when you tell me, conclusion, we have seized, I will tell you where are the vehicles. You must show all the vehicles that you have seized.
No, you are entitled to ask 2 questions, which you've already asked. I mean, there can't be room for follow-up questions. I have fresh hands to ask questions. He's one of them, and C is one of them. Yes.
I
am Janneh, Standard newspaper. You have mentioned that the issue of Haruna Janneh. You have said that the government has not done any independent investigation. We haven't got this issue. Okay, but we have witnessed during your 33 years of ruling. There are many innocent Gambians who were murdered, killed by your government. And there's no, we have never seen any investigation from the Taliban. Now, at that time, all of that you are part of the parliament, and you are military at that time. So you have not seen anything from the government, because it was taken like our
Yeah.
And now you are calling this government to the state of Legality. So I want to know.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Valid question.
You know, this question, it is good because it only goes to portray who you are.
Correct.
One.
Correct. Very correct.
Why I said so? Why?
No.
Why I said so? Why I said so? Why?
Please.
Why I said so? I have made it abundantly clear that APRC we have made mistakes. But is it justifiable to say that so far we made those mistakes? The government that's coming to do the same mistakes and nobody should ask them. You tell us, that's the devil's mind. If we have done wrong in the past, this government should make sure that they don't repeat those wrongs. That's the only way going forward. But if you tell us, hey, if you knock this man down, you tell me yes, but you also used to knock that man down. I am better than you. I am better than you. So, what we are saying here is, you said our government. Is there any evidence to prove that Deda Hydra was killed by our government? Was killed by people? During our time. The Faraba people, the Faraba incident, were killed during President Barrow's time. Is it Barrow who killed them? So what we are saying is, I have said this many times. What we are saying here is, you see, there are times when people make use of their positions, their connections, to settle scores with people. So what we are saying is, what was wrong when we were there cannot be right today. If what you are doing today is bad, the next government should not repeat it. That's the only way we can all go forward. Let's put aside APRC, UDP, this and that. Let's look at the Gambia. So that's what we are saying. Please.
Yes.
Wait, you have chance. I am giving chance to the lady. Let me say this. I'm giving room to the young lady to ask a question, and you have one question out of your lot, only one. And please don't let it not be two in one. No, you don't have to round it up. Choose one out of your lot. Only one. Yes.
Regarding the 33 million.
About today's what issue? Yes, there are problems or challenges. Yes, you see, I have had opportunity to have meetings with President Barrow himself on more than two or more occasions. And mostly we highlight some of our these concerns. You know, I told you here that when we were in government, if you call the UDP or these people, they will not answer. They don't want to even to relate with us. And the only way you can get what you want and for government to know what is happening is to engage them and discuss with them. We have highlighted all these things. Our concerns, we have highlighted them. Even some of the behaviors of certain people, we have highlighted it. But that's what we can do. But we also have ways of going about our solving our problems. If one fails, we will take another step. What is clear is we will not be sitting down. We will be bullied wrongfully, and we look at it. We will not do that. We will do everything necessary and sacrifice anything that is necessary to get it right and to establish the truth. That much we know. But we engage government. Every time we talk with government, we engage them on issues, despite all the challenges that we have. You see them going with their brand new pickups. Don't you see it yourself? Where did they get it?
All right, I'm now going to take the final question from Serika. Yes.
We are working together, but don't mind, we can.
No, hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. If you are working together, then give him the opportunity to ask.
Okay, go ahead. No, this is an opportunity for you to exhaust all the questions because we want to be fair. This press conference will spark another press conference. Be ready for that. I know what I'm saying. So now, Yankuba Toure was mentioned by Aladi Kani at APRC. The fact that Jehovah said they went to court, the case was thrown out. APRC charged Yankuba Toure again with contempt. It was thrown out of the court. Now he is facing more charges at the High Court and currently at my truth. My opinion is, I'm asking about your opinion. Do you think the Attorney General Chambers, especially the Minister of Justice, Bartman, is fair to young people telling him you will throw the books at you?
We will
throw the books on you.
Do you think it's fair for the Minister of Justice to describe somebody about his age or some sort of innocence until proven guilty, telling him that your own opinion about that side, because you mentioned it. To round it up now, you mentioned about SFL of TRRC, not being professional, anti-address sourcing, going to UK, calling APRC names. Your reaction?
Yeah, you see, there are certain principles in law. In law, the benefit of the doubt goes to the accused. One, there are certain luminaries, legal luminaries, who established that somebody who has committed an offense, to release that person to go is better than convicting somebody who is innocent. Two, and in all these things, whatever you do, even if you are found slaughtering somebody, the law takes the accused to be innocent until proven guilty. But these people, they take you guilty before the court. The cart before the horse. You see, Yankuba Toure was a member of the junta, if you remember. And he had been a strong member of the APRC, well connected to former President Janneh and most of us. He has even been the APRC mobilizer general. What is so peculiar about Yankuba Toure that's different from the others to warrant that Yankuba would be in mile 2 and those people are going about their business? If not, for only one thing, that's Batambedu's arrogance and believing that he owns the law, he can do what he wants. And God will expose him gradually, coming gradually. There are certain things, there are certain investigations going on currently. If we get the facts, It will be fine. But we know that these are not, this cannot be justice. Naturally, it cannot be justice. If you can hear Adelaide Sose talking about Fonis and Jolas being obstacles, and not Mandinkas, who are those who are championing tribalism here, who said they own the Gambia? Look, let's be honest. We should not allow ourselves as Gambians, especially you, the youths, for us to degenerate you down to the level of you are Jola, you are Mandinka, you are Wolof. These are issues with politicians, the politicians who have very little time on this earth to divide you for our own interest. Let's sell our ideas, what is good for you. No government will come here, even if the North Bank Road, the hospital, the bridge, and everything. It was funny that they were the last to have electricity. So that is what is important, is what you can deliver for our common good. No tribe will come to power and will satisfy that tribe. Those are misleading statements. Yankuba Toure's issue for us is witch hunt, arrogance, and you know, is vengeance. It's vengeance. Something is in them that they want to pour on him. And we are all looking. We don't have investigative journalists around. Journalists who can look into these things, investigate them, and come and put it on the papers so that we politicians will take it up. I talked about the $33 million. It died out so quickly. What is happening? I remember our time, even if you look at somebody very strongly, the papers will pick it up. President Janneh looked at somebody like this. Why not now? So, for our common good, if we come back to power, take us and make sure that we don't go beyond your interest. That's the only way we can move forward. APRC, we were in government 22 years. We are set. We know what is right. We know what is wrong. We have our experience. If we come back, Gambians will support us until Ilayomidi.
All right, please. Thank you very much. I saw the lady that she's going to be the person to be given the floor to ask the last question. Yes.
Another lady.
Yes. Because they were dominated. Yes. Yes, the lady. You are the only lady there. The gentleman is trying to hijack you, but I said the lady.
Please.
Supporting the UDP and APRC are in support of the 3 years. Okay. That's why Barrow came with the statement. Lawyer Dabo came with the statement of supporting against the ban. Is it true?
Against the ban? No. But APRC, I said, if there is going to be any party that should support 3 years, it should be number one APRC. We are the most affected by the Barrow government.
But it is stated that both UDP and APRC are financially supporting the 3 years.
Now, yeah, it's a question. Now, I am telling you, we were invited by the 3-year Jotna. We said we are not going. We were invited by the 5-year Jotna. We said we are not going. We have just been written by another chapter in URR seeking for donations for the 5-year Jotna. We said we are not listening to it. You know, we are very principled. We are not supporting anybody. We have not given a dime to anybody. We have not discussed with any political party about this 3 years with any other group. None. APRC. Anybody who tells you is fabricating. What we are saying is we are sitting watching with the whistle in our mouth. If the game is good and fair and everything is going fine, then it's fine. If there are foul plays and there is becoming a problem for the Gambia, we will issue a red card.
Thank you.
And then we will come in. That's what we are saying. But don't believe anybody. We are not talking with anybody on 3 or 5 years. We have not agreed with anybody. We have not given anybody a dime. Anytime you are told, tell them the party leader said all those things are untrue. Please. Yeah.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Alhaji Fabakary Tombong-Jatta, the APRC party leader. And I equally want to thank all the media houses that are here to cover the press briefing. It has been very, very informative and very lively as well. We really appreciate all the questions that were asked. No ambiguity, no emotions. The questions are meant to establish the fact. The questions are meant to go and inform the people that we are not privileged to be with us here. On that note, I thank you very much, and I hope the challenges that came from the party leader with regards to certain investigations that Gambians were promised and never carried out, the press will take it up with the government to get the reliable information, particularly the $33 million that nobody knows how it came into the account of the First Lady. It's very important. And the deaths of Aruna Jatta, the death of Sirifo Kujabi, the shooting on Ismaila Tamba, all these are things that the government promised to mount investigation. Up to date, no investigation. It's been made.
Death in detention of that NIA man.
Exactly, the Liz, NIA number 2, who died in detention. Yet still, nothing is known about what led to his death. So I hope the press will take it up with the government and inform the citizenry accordingly.
The university student killed by that police.
Yeah, exactly, the university student as well. I think he may be a colleague to some of you. What are you doing? Are you trying to put the government to task to give you the information as to what is responsible for his death? So please, let us not just be engaging our leaders or our authorities in the area of politics, but we should be also engaging them in current realities, particularly on the unsecure nature of the state. We are aware that there is no security in the Gambia today. There are a lot of security lapses. You and I, when we go out, when we are moving at night, we are looking behind to see whether no one is chasing us. Is that the life you want to continue living? That was not the life we were living before. And most of all, look at the plight of the farmers. The past 2 years, credit buying is the order of the day, and credit buying was history. The last 15 years of APRC dispensation, there was no credit buying of farmers' products. But today is the order of the day. The last 2 years of Barrow, we all saw it, credit buying. Worst of all, they could not even purchase all the nuts. What is happening? Where are we heading to?
Thank you.
So we want to challenge you, in as much as you want to challenge us as a party on our weaknesses, challenge the current government. We have made some giant strides. Why are they not able to build from those gains? But instead, they are just retrogressing. Is that the kind of the Gambia we yearning for? No. We were anticipating a Gambia that will build from where APRC stopped, and then try to make rectifications on the weaknesses and limitations of the APRC. But that is not what is happening. I think as young as you are, you will join us in ensuring that we continue or we go back to enjoy the fruits of the labor that President Janneh and the APRC did in this country. On that note, on behalf of the party leader and the entire executive, I have an announcement. We are planning another mega rally which will supersede what we did. We are planning another mega rally that will supersede what we did at the SSP in Brikama. And hopefully the date of the rally or the month for the rally will be announced. So we want to invite all the media houses to Lord Mayor Yankuba Koli's residence on Wednesday the 28th, on Saturday the 28th of this month at 3 p.m. for the launching. That is the day you will get the details and the nitty-gritties of what the mega rally is going to look like. On that note, I thank you very much.
noo lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek Skincare Plus nar a jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star Janneh la 5 star Janneh mooy Janneh bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee buñ demee Bamako ñun duñ dem ci marché bi rek buub indi déedéet dañ leen a jox suñu specs ne lañ nii lañ ko bëggee nay lañ ko bëggee fóot bi nangami fóot lañ bëgga pour mu mun a set waaw cuubi skincare déedéet doo ko sol mu di la taxa all over the place ci gàttal ñun rek si cuub dara du doy day des not only dañoo cuub but bu la neexee ñu cuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la ñaw fi mu gën a setee nag rek la ñoo fëlee ñetti ñawkat lañ am nañ ñawkati simple nga xam ne xoppati rek mbaa def sa taille basse def sa dagit def sa roba amul benn dawme am nañ koo xam ne moo ñoo dawme jigéen den am nañ tamit special ñawkat boo xam ne ñawi góor rek la ñoo defal nga bugg a sa his and hers muy korité muy tobaski mbaa muy ngénte muy takka mbaa nga bugg a rek def sa yëkka bu baax a baax daagul ba ñëw Skincare Plus ñu dimbali la tànnal la cub fam gën a baaxee ndax sa yëkka gën a foor lii nga ne lan xoolal bi takka la skincare fii la fu léegi yéen tey we're not all about skin we are skin care and the plus does come in so many different ways cubantu wuñ de dañ cub bam saf-saf
Never